All right, good morning, everyone. Happy birthday, Heaven. As always, we're going to do a broad market outlook. We're going through some top ideas. I guess the muting thing didn't work. All right. So again, starting off strongest sectors, we have utilities getting a little extended, a little exhausted up here after this major run that it's been on. So if you're in any utility name, it's probably time to start up at some stops so it can take some profits given the run that it's had. Consumer staples, very similar story, retested the prior all-time high. And like we've seen, with even individual stocks, you get that little push up to kind of chase the last few bit of people in, but you often kind of lose that momentum once you get towards that retest. And this is kind of an area to take some profits, or if you want to be, give it some room, you can just, have a trailing stop where if this rolls back under this prior level, it's more likely going to head back into this range than just to continue higher. Energy still continues to be probably the only strong sector among the four here that is still setting up. Again, this is, I don't want to call it like a Mickey Mouse flag up here, but it is very extended on the short term. But for now, we don't want to fight the trend until this trend line breaks. Energy has been strong. We want to stick with that until that break, and until then, status quo is the same. Healthcare, last of the stronger sectors that just didn't have the momentum to really get up and retest that prior high like the staples did. So they're a little bit weaker among these four, but still, amongst their peers, still pretty strong. Two sectors still setting up. We have materials. We can see here, this was that retest, similar to what we saw or what we're seeing with consumer staples right now. Again, a retest that area. If you're looking at it like right now, it looks amazing. You would never think that it's going to come back into the range, and it does that and even more. And again, it's right back in that resistance area again. And the more this develops, the more likely that eventually at some point this material sector will break out through this 198 area. Probably will still need some time, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months, but one to keep on the radar. And the REIT sector, we still see some setups in this sector as well as they're trying to work their way towards that retest. But for now, it seems like testing the 200-day is probably going to be more in the cards than, breaking up through this resistance area. In the meantime, the weak sectors are still the same. Telecommunications stocks is still in this breakdown stage. We should expect pretty much a flush down through this prior low, in some time. Biotech, same thing. Oh, Shake's there. What's going on, buddy?
We got Shake in the house.
Oh, what's up, baby?
Yo.
Were you walking the dog?
What up?
Were you walking the dog?
No, yeah. I'm in like this place looks exactly like the Ozarks right now. Got a little lake. We got a little lake here. Got to take advantage.
Yeah. Looking for some prime real estate out there?
Oh, yeah. 100K and you're a millionaire out here.
Anything you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, the market's been under pressure. Just keeping it very simple. There's a lot of names setting up. It's just they're, mostly oil and commodity stocks, energy stocks. The defense stocks look okay. I'm not sure if this like GD is ready yet. Just looking at, LMT and NOC, I think they might need to consolidate a little more. But I really, really like, OKE. I like EOG. I really like that EOG. I think it's giving a really tight entry. But it's gapping right to that 124. You said inside day. It's really just a retest of those all-time highs. So I think it's giving a really tight entry. 124 versus 121.49. That looks really good. OKE, obviously. Oxy. I really like this Oxy, too. I think that's given a decently tight entry off the inside day. It's obviously much more of a momentum trade. I'm not, looking to stay in this thing for months and months, but I think it has more upside this week. Just look at all the oil names. They're all kind of similar setting up. I mean, we bought this NOV. We bought NOV Friday. That one's gapping up now to 21. So, I mean, like the writing on this wall is pre-market is just oil and energy. Market's gapping down. Tech is relatively weak again. Just stay the fuck away from tech. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to keep it simple. Really, that's it. There's a lot of good oil setups, so I'm sticking with the oil names. Very simple.
Like it.
Sure.
All right. So going back to ones we want to avoid. Telecom, biotechs, industrial, still kind of in the middle of this down stage. And SPY, again, we always want to talk about it. Just dead smack in the middle of this range. Again, looks pretty crappy given how it closed on Friday. But again, dead smack in the middle. This is not the time to really go crazy. Again, we tried to be as blunt as we could about taking profits up into resistance. And in this range, when we want to be selling up here, we want to be buying near support. And in the middle, you want to be holding on the way up and obviously trying to do as little as possible on the way down. So for now, until we really get like a push up through this like 447 area, really no sense in trying to like go too nuts, adding risk as we continue to probably pull back into this range. And when we get near, 430 to 410, like in this area, really kind of like 420 area, it's probably going to be the spot that we want to be looking for those opportunities. I'm not going to really repeat myself again. Sheikh mentions OKE. My big focus for the week is SEE. Up through a 70 in time. I don't really expect this thing to go anytime soon, but just keeping this one on the radar when it wants to go. TSCO was just a good lesson learned on why I want to keep risk tight. Blue sky breakout, ticks me in on, I guess, Wednesday. Couple, two little like doji days at highs, giving us kind of like an indecision that buyers might not really be ready to break this name out. And instead of giving the name where I was originally giving it versus 220, there's really no sense in giving this name 10% of risk when I was barely 1% right in the trade and was able to really limit the risk, have the stop versus those basically two doji days at highs and lost, maybe 1% in the name and it closed on Friday down to nearly 4%. So this was like the tiniest paper cut. No problem to get back into this name. And that seems to be kind of be the theme. If you are putting on risk and you're expecting these momentum breakouts, Sheikh mentioned like this GD, and he was saying it's not sure if it's ready. And I definitely see what he's looking at as well. And this is a good one. If it is ready and it does want to go, if it goes up to 247 and it breaks out and it looks amazing, it's great, 2% risk. But if it tickles 247 and goes to 247.50 or 248 and goes a buck higher and comes right back, that's probably the writing on the wall that such take this break even or take this insignificant loss. Then I want to give it room. I want to trade it properly when it's not showing us what we're looking for or what we're expecting. So NOV, again, I think Sheikh mentioned this one in the shakedown up through this 20 half area. I know it's gapping up a little bit pre-market. He went over this Oxy already, and Fang as well was another energy name he was looking at up through, I believe, like 142, 143 area. Those were a couple off the shakedown. Going through a couple of the winners from last week, this KBR broke out nicely. CI continues to trade higher. HUM, I remember one of the members was calling this one out a few weeks ago, still looking great as it works towards a retest. And this CAH continues to just, beast from these two little flags that you guys have called out. This PECO, one of the members called out from last week. I don't remember who it was. Still,
that's me.
You haven't. Still seeing that very nicely. And those were the names I want to go over in my little pre-market speech. So, Heaven, if you have any ideas.
Yeah, for sure. Another one that had some really nice follow through last week was this DCP, oil and gas name. Again, really nice follow through, going into all-time highs. Exactly what you want to see. So sort of the profit taking area, if you did take that one through 30, 35-ish, and try to hang on to it, see if it continues higher. A couple of names that I'm looking at, I don't want to repeat what you guys have because it seems like everyone and their mom is looking at OKE and OXY this week. So one that I'm also looking at is AFLAC, AFL, finance stock. You can kind of see the higher lows over the last few weeks, right at, this all-time high level right around, I'm looking at probably like 66 area to buy versus that pivot at 64. And then other than that, I mean, everything's kind of been said already, looking at GD, looking at PECO, all that stuff. One that is like kind of on my do not miss list, not today or anything like that, but I really do not want to miss this net through 132.50. In time, I think it looks really good, especially on the weekly chart. You can see that stage one base is finally really forming. I was trying to buy this one during that breakdown stage 4, and like now it's really starting to show me the clear level that it needs to cross. So that one's really good in time and relatively pretty strong in the tech sector. Another one that's pretty strong in the tech center is this AKAM, Akami Tech. Weekly chart is insane, like really nice level up here, trading at highs while tech is just getting demolished. So that's always a good clue on what'll be the market leader when tech finally turns around. So that's always one to keep an eye on. Then we got some ideas from some members. Julie actually just messaged me right now with BAH through 90 versus 87. Really nice macro level there. I like that one.
Great. Especially now that it's kind of like rolling over a little bit, where it's probably not going to go, let's say, tomorrow, but could roll over a little bit. Maybe it's going to pull in back to this 200-day and then like work its way back up towards that 90 level. But eventually in time, like this 90 level is clearly the spot that it's going to, this is going to be the spot it's going to break. So definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see this almost shake out this sort of consolidation that it's formed over the last few weeks here, and then try to buy it back on the way up. What else we got? We got Kusha. He's got a few here. He's looking at NE. There we go. I guess he's looking at just like a high and tight flag up here. Looks pretty good. NE, yeah, through 34.50 versus 33.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, nice little wedge break. Yeah, that makes sense. WLL 84.5.
WELL.
WLL, no E in there.
Guess
what do you think?
76.
Yeah, so he wants some tiered stops, and he was gonna have some of it versus the low of day. So I guess he's looking for a quicker trade here, and then the other portion under 81. Which I think the 81 is a little bit random. Like it's sort of just in the middle of that upward move from last week. I think the real out, like you mentioned, is down at 70, 76.50 is really the spot. And that makes it kind of wide. So I think if this could tighten up and really, or at least maybe test that 81 level another time to really confirm that there's some support there, I think that would make a little more sense than just having it at 81 right now.
Yeah, especially in the oil space, it's like, I would focus on just like, just because it's like so tight versus this is just pretty wide.
You're sort of chasing the move here. It seems like it had the strong move last week, and then it's forming a doji at this resistance. It's almost signaling that it might need to come down first before it pushes higher again. Next one he's looking at is OAS through 153.
Okay.
So I think similar setup, I guess, to that WLL, where it kind of had that strong push up last week, where like if it could go sideways a little bit here, it would be a little more attractive, I would say.
Yeah.
It can kind of just fill out that wedge first and really form that inflection point. I think would really make it a lot more A+.
Yeah. But
it is a recent IPO as well, so it's only a year and a half old. So obviously really strong uptrend. That's everything you want to see. So it could definitely continue higher from here. Looks pretty
this
good.
Actually is like, this one actually is like better than, as much as we like OKE chart wise, it's like, it's still not near OKE's relative. Actually, it's pretty close, but it's still not like a blue sky kind of breakout.
Yeah.
It's bluish, but it's not blue. I guess up here is really the key spot. So like, this OAS, this is blue. So really above this 157, it's, just like it's been doing for the last year or so. It's just has not broken its crazy uptrend. So yeah. Let me keep on the radar. What do we got next?
For sure. MTDR, which I think we spoke about last week, but he's looking at that one through all-time highs. Kind of tried to break last week, little failed breakout on Wednesday. But held up, didn't fall all the way back off. So that's a nice little momentum flag there at highs. Yeah. It does have earnings soon, so it could go on a little pre-earnings run, but that's something to remember that it's got earnings.
Earnings in a little more than a little less than a week. Yeah, next Tuesday. This would probably one you just wait till after earnings.
Yeah.
The chart is definitely one where you're just scanning oil names, great chart, but we probably don't know much about this company where this is just easier probably. Yeah. Even if it gaps it, it's like it is what it is. But this seems earnings.
Yeah. Then we got Abby. She's looking at a couple that I think we all already mentioned. I know you were looking at SEE 7050. Which is a really nice chart, macro blue sky breakout. And then the other one she's got was PECO, which we've already went over, and then IT 304.
IT 304.
Yeah, IT
304. I was looking at GD a few weeks ago, and not GD, Humana. And I initially was like, it's kind of a pass, but Abby, you definitely were right. And I hope you agree with me and you took this trade. But IT, she was saying what, 304?
Yeah, 304, I guess above Friday's high.
Yeah. I would probably just wait really almost like I was looking at this 308. But with these, like we got this high here, like when this thing broke down, that was a high. We got this high here. And then when it actually bounced here, this was the high was
307, 308.
308. So to kind of cheat into these bases, not often the best move to do, especially because these bases can take so long that you almost would rather want to pay up. Even like when I wanted to buy 308, like looking at it even now, it's like I would rather just wait till 310. And the difference of 305 and 310 is going to be what, 1.5%. You're paying up more for confirmation of the base break versus trying to sneak in and still have to get it versus 288. So I'm looking at this one as well, but I think it just will need some more time than trying to get in. Like if it was to gap up, you would be getting triggered in. But I just think just waiting for this break will be much easier of a trade than sneaking in.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Or, always you can also look to buy this off support if it does start to come back down a little bit and try to get in there for like a low starter position. But yeah, I mean, you don't really want to get caught in these consolidation phases and just sit in it, for weeks on end when you could be buying something else, but definitely one to keep on the radar. And I think that's about it. Actually, another one that I'm looking at is this Dutch Bros. Sort of just kind of making these higher lows and keeping that support is just trending upwards. Still needs a little more time, but yeah, through that 55 area, I think could make for a nice little support buy if it can just tighten up in that area. I don't really want to give it $7. So if it can kind of put in another higher pivot low and tighten up a bit more, maybe in like a $3 to $4 range, I would look to buy through 55.
Yeah. It's good. It's also good to see because when these IPOs, when they start to like test actually I never tested the IPO up. I didn't see this candle here. See, this still looks like very good. It's when the names start to like get down to this area, like the actual IPO, it's like the name's just dead for so long where this name is just like, we're talking about bases. Like, this is a great base. Like, this is, 55 is like a defined spot where, like, if you want to buy like 54, it's like, there's no sense of cheating that dollar. Like, just wait for that. Right. They're just comparing this with IT. Like, it's not worth sneaking in 1.5% lower, where this one, you just wait for the proper spot for that base.
Yeah, especially because the stop is so far away where it's like, even if you're right, you still have to like wait for so long and your risk is just, it's too high at that. If it was like in a $1 range where it was, it formed some sort of support right at like 50, 51 or 52, then I wouldn't mind cheating the level or at least having a starter position. But at this point, like the risk is just too wide to even have that starter position where it doesn't make sense. And then actually the last one that I'm keeping an eye on is this Caterpillar Inc. had a huge day on Friday. I'm not sure what happened there, if there was some sort of news, but pretty big day considering like the slow, it felt like a summer trading day in the overall market. Huge move right into that 230 resistance area. So I'm watching for some sort of flag there and try to buy, through a momentum bull flag. It does have earnings soon, so I don't know how good it'll set up before then, but I got to keep an eye on this one because interesting price action.
Yeah. We had like a big trade on this one years ago, back in 2017. I don't know if anyone watching this was with us at this point, but this was like an amazing trade. This is like, we missed, I remember I missed the second leg of this, but that was like a, 40% trade and missed the remainder. But yeah, this one looks
perfect. Yeah, well, that's everything I got, Ben.
All right, buddy. All right, guys. Well, good luck today. Any questions, post them in the chat, and we'll be back here at noon.
Yes, sir. Catch you later.
Yeah.